So this one starts off pretty good, and then really quickly everything kind of changes towards the end. But we'll get into that a little bit later, and for now we'll just revisit some of our weekly goals from last week. I mean, for the most part we accomplished everything we wanted to. We got our foraging level up for lightning rods, we did all our starfruit and all of our community center crops, dived into the caverns plenty of times, and then made our lightning rods coop, which I didn't realize, and also upgraded our barn. So we actually did pretty well on that. So that means we're set up for pretty much a full set of new goals this week. And it's not too pressing. Once again, there's not really a whole lot that needs to get done. But I can tell you now we are not going to successfully do some of them. And that is buying 906 starfruit now instead of 604. And we want to plant our second larger starfruit batch and start making our kegs. And that's with all the oak resin we've been messing with. Again, we want to do the cavern dives just to keep making money, to keep being able to buy the starfruit. I think it's costing like 350,000 now per crop. And then we just want to keep going on our animal bundle, which is usually the slowest bundle to complete when it comes to the that section of the community center. And then get a silo so we can feed our animals and keep upgrading our barn so we can do pigs before fall and get a truffle again for the community center. And I mean pigs are a pretty good source of money in the wintertime, though I won't really mess with them too much. But today we had a pretty good luck day overall. So we're just gonna kind of go to the caverns as usual, and this will be either our first or second run for the week. This is probably the most. I think we do another caverns run either tomorrow or on the 11th. I can't remember. Oh no, tomorrow. So we'll have a couple days of caverns, but again, nothing too special or notable. Just something that you'll have to grind out pretty continuously. You also could start selling starfruit if you really wanted to for money, but then you'd really dip into your later profits. So I'd recommend not doing that. I don't know. I just know some people really don't like the caverns. And realistically, if you don't like the caverns, this style of run is going to be a really challenging one. And I probably wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But that being said, I'm just going to keep rolling through. I can't remember how much starfruit I need. I know like the number, so it's not 906 times 400, so it's 362,000 divided by 1500, so 241 bars times 5. That couldn't be right, is that right? I need like 1100 iridium. Dang, that's kind of a lot. But it's not that crazy. I guess if I just do like, 400 each run, which I don't normally do, it's a lot. I mean, it is a lot of money, which you'll see soon kind of bites me a little bit, because I don't quite get where I need. And even with this run, like I only have 200 iridium, and I leave relatively soon. It's just one of those things where, like at the time, you don't realize you're not making nearly enough money until the day comes that you have to buy a bunch of stuff, and if you don't keep really good track of that, it can be kind of rough. But I just barely got over 200, so if I only go 3 times and I only get 200 each time, I'm going to be short on my goal by half. So it's a pretty significant disparity that hopefully, I don't think it ends up being that bad. I end up being a little bit short, but not significant. And it's a much bigger problem that arises instead. So whatever, we'll see what happens. We also have a little bit of carryover money from last time that we didn't need the full amount of money we had. So I don't know, I think I already have some bars in the bank. Some money is still not a huge issue. The bigger issue is like I missed planting a few starfruit already. And then yeah, the next big issue. Which yeah, it's so frustrating because I didn't realize it at the time how big of a problem it was going to be until like a couple days later. So even if I wanted to save scum back, I didn't have that option because I don't keep more than 1 day prior save files. So, oh well, lessons learned. I'll get into it, like I said, in just a little bit here. And I guess I decided to do some of my prep the night before for skull caverns. I pretty much knew going into this next day that if my luck was above neutral, I was going to go to the caverns, even though I actually had an option for what I could do. Because tomorrow, all of my starfruit will be ready. But the issue is I didn't buy the deluxe speed grow I needed from Sandy on the last Thursday. So I didn't have the option to replant my new field. And because the rain, I don't know, it gets really complicated, but basically what I could have done was buy all my deluxe speed grow earlier in this run for the additional 302 starfruit, and then harvest everything today and replant everything today, but I didn't. And that's fine for the most part. Because as long as I plant by tomorrow and everything's watered, I'll still have the option for 3 harvests. So my main goals for today, I'll get back to that, sorry. My main goals for today and tomorrow are basically to continue expanding the farm, harvest all the starfruit, buy the additional deluxe speed grow, replant that larger field, skip the festival as always, and then the caverns today, and then make a big mistake, which I definitely did. So a couple things, I guess, to start out with, because today's going to be relatively inconsequential, just a skull caverns run. So because of the way we level up our farming, okay, no, let me restart, because that's a bad way to start. Basically, we can either harvest our starfruit today or tomorrow, and still be on track to have 3 full harvests, right? So I could have harvested everything today, and it would have been fine, and replanted everything, and then I would be able to replant the new field and not have to water it because it's raining, which would have been really great. But for whatever reason, I didn't want to give up this star drop luck day, so I just opted to do it tomorrow, which would have been fine, except for now I have to water everything in the new plot of land because I don't have my sprinklers up yet. So what ends up happening is I run out of time to water all of my stuff, which, because I did my math incorrectly, I thought was going to be fine, but I'll be 1 day short for that 3rd field to grow fully, so I'll only get 2 harvests out of it. And ultimately that's going to cost me like, what is it? Let's see. 3,000 times 300, basically. Like, it's going to cost me like $1 million gold. And that's basically the big mistake I made. It's not, I mean, it's really not like run ending, but for me it typically would have been, just because I like to have those extra crops growing. But it's just kind of frustrating to accidentally make such a small mistake like that ends up being a lot larger, just because I didn't want to risk losing a good luck day. And so that's really all it is. I mean, it's not like, I don't know, you'll see kind of what happens in the next day as to like why it went down the way it did. But for whatever reason, I forgot it wasn't going to rain on Thursday. And of course it's not, because it's a festival, and festivals never rain. So that was really my main mistake there. And I'm also a little bit short on money, not anything significant, which is another reason why I wanted to go to the caverns today. Just so I can keep bringing money in, even though I actually can't sell the stuff tomorrow because everything's closed except for Sandy's. So I don't know, I guess that's another thing. A lot of people think that Sandy is closed on festival days, but she's not. She never has been, from what I can tell, and she never will be, even though like every guide that exists out there and even like the wiki says that she's closed. It's just not true. So I don't know what that's about. You'll find like the wiki tends to be incorrect on a lot of details like that, but they never change it or update it, so I don't know. But yeah, so had I put these sprinklers down now and hoed up all the ground, I would have been in much better shape, but I didn't, so I just kind of set myself up for a bit of a bad situation. And I kind of knew that going into this part. Like I knew I was gonna have to water, and I didn't know if I would have enough time to do it all, because if you're doing animation canceling, you have plenty of time because it takes so little time to actually water each spot. But since I'm not, it takes significantly longer, like 5 times longer or whatever. So that was like my worries. I don't know if I was gonna have enough time there. So I don't know. Like I said, it's a frustrating mistake and something that I would have probably abandoned this run for traditionally. But I figure, you know what, whatever. This is just kind of a more chill playthrough where I just want to demonstrate how things go and little mistakes you can make, and I guess basically what not to do. It is kind of nice to see summertime without rain, as it's relatively rare, just because of how we use the rain totems, you know. But yeah, that's it really. Yeah, you'll see like this harvesting takes a really, really long time, so I'm obviously not going to make you watch all of it. And I do end up harvesting with a mouse most of the time, just because it's a little bit faster to be able to mouse over like 9 crops at once, or 8 crops or whatever, instead of the way I'm doing it right now, because this takes a while, so kind of just fast forward through that. And I only ended up with 600 starfruit, which means I either missed 4 or a couple were struck by lightning, which is whatever. It's a minimal write-off. So yeah, like Thursday, like usual, always go to the desert, always get the magic rock candy, and then today, being a special day, I will get the deluxe speed grow and as many starfruit seeds as I can afford. I was short. It looks like I was short a pretty decent amount. I would have been fine had I not had to buy the deluxe speed grow, but I did, so what are you gonna do? It still kind of drives me crazy because I always thought that Sandy would be closed today, so most of my runs I've used, I make sure I go earlier, but once I found out you can go later, that's ultimately what ended up screwing me over, but oh well. So yeah, so I ended up short by like 20 starfruit or something, which ultimately didn't matter at all because I was short a lot more than that. But yeah, most of my day, I don't know, the whole day will be spent planting, rather, just because the hoeing process takes so long. Again, because I'm not using animation canceling. If you do animation cancel, you can pretty much skip upgrading the hoe, as it's almost pointless because you can hoe faster than you can like charge it, you know. But again, that's not what we're doing here. So yeah, I'll skip all this stuff in a moment here, and then I'll keep going with my oak forest. I know I have a few more tappers to put up. One thing I always do is I end up sacrificing a little bit of production, and I like to wait until all of my tappers are on the same schedule, because for me it's a lot more satisfying to watch them all like flashing on screen and be able to grab them all at once. So I end up sacrificing some productivity at one point, but not until I have all the tappers up. So yeah, this is that's how much I thought I was going to be able to plant and water and be able to get, the most out of this. But unfortunately I was not quite correct. And I think I ended up I got an okay amount watered. And all these will still get harvested. So again, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just I won't be able to plant an additional crop on top of the ones I harvest in like 8 or 9 days. And that's what's kind of a bummer. And I think I'm right about this. Maybe I'm not. I might actually, for all I know, maybe I didn't make a mistake, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be 1 day short just because I wasn't able to water everything today. And like watching back at all this, like I'm wasting so much time today. I probably could have pulled this off had I not like dilly-dallied around so much. Just kind of wandering around, messing with my inventory, like all this really, really valuable time that I could have been watering all the crops. So I guess the only piece of advice I would recommend is to just don't do this. Do stuff as early as possible. Don't put it off. One extra Skull Caverns run isn't going to kill you, but losing a really massive amount of starfruit can. So I don't know. It's not too bad. I don't feel like, I don't know. I'm fine with it. But even this, like, I could just have waited for the oak resin. Just water it, dude. And then it like gets dark, so you can't actually see how much you water very well. At least on my monitor. But yeah, you can see like I pass out and I have all of these sections still unwatered. So I don't know, it's okay. But again, not optimal, so. Yeah, you'll always rank up fully to your farmer, and you want to do agriculturist originally. So your crops grow faster for the third harvest. Later on, we'll change that. You can change it for 10 grand in the sewers at the Statue of Uncertainty. So anyway, that was this episode. I've got a few different things I'm working on currently, so hopefully I'll have something new out that's a little different from this series. See ya.